thing. And Kate, if you could turn your screens on, then I know we're ready to roll. There's Juliana. And so Kate, when you chance, just turn your monitor on or your visuals. Okay, so thanks guys for accommodating me today. I had to dash out of town. I'm actually here at my daughter's house in Albany. So we had a family member take ill yesterday afternoon. So I'm down here to help out with family. So I shouldn't need to step out, but I've got my phone handy. Normally I have that, away during class, but kind of waiting on some calls today. So thanks for your understanding with that. I think internet is fine here. I've had Zoom meetings from here before. So, but just in case things get a little wonky, I might have to carry us to another room. So, I would just also want to say, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who sent it to me, so you can totally own it if you want to. If not, it's totally fine. I got an email yesterday in the fray of things that I think it's chapter 1 and chapter 18 quiz wasn't going into your grade book. I don't know if that's a singular person having a problem.
That was me.
That was Marissa. Thanks for pinging me on it. Is everybody having that issue or just Marissa?
Yeah.
No, I was having that issue as well.
Just with those 2 quizzes?
Yeah.
Okay, so the link must be a little broken or wonky there. So I'll check those. It might be tonight or tomorrow, but I'll get on that. And then guys, can you remind me, I know there was a weird question in question 1, so everybody's getting points for that one. And then, Lana, was it you or Louisa who asked me about a question in a more recent quiz?
It was me.
It was you.
I think it was the 2 and 3 quiz, I believe. It was a question about who made the 2030 project or challenge. And like it said that the correct answer was William McDonough, which was not true. It was Edward Masria, I think his last name is. Because that was the answer that was correct when that same question popped up in chapter 1.
Okay. All right, I will double check that. And you get a freebie point there, whether you got it right or not. So, okay, thanks for giving
Mary,
me. Yeah.
I just checked and I'm having the same problem with like the chapter 1 and 18 quiz.
Okay.
Me too.
I think it's across the board. If one person's, if a couple of you have it not working, most likely all of you don't. So I'll check the linkages. Maybe there's a broken connection somewhere and I'll have to get some help from the Faculty Resource Center to get it fixed. But I promise I will do that this week and double check on grades because I know Starfish is happening this week. So, and just you guys, so I don't like flood you with Starfish alerts. I'm not going to send an alert out to the entire class. And if you get an alert from me, it's because we need to make a visit about your participation or scores or attendance or something's not quite on par. So if you don't get a Starfish from me, everything is cool and good and you're in good shape. If you do get one, it's time to make an office hour appointment with me and I will request that in the Starfish, okay? So I'll be doing that Thursday and Friday this week. Just a reminder, tonight is the Vignelli lecture for extra credit. So if you're starting to see your quiz scores maybe aren't so fab and you want to get a few extra participation points, please attend that. Just a reminder, you do need to register in advance for the Zoom link. You can't just go into it. And they do close out the links prior to the talk starting. So you want to do that before 7 p.m. tonight. Okay, and we'll have a little break during the session that you can do that. The reflection paper is on my courses under the Vignelli Design Conversations, and you would use that same form for all 3, okay? And there is a Dropbox for that. So I'm gonna share my screen, and then we'll do some questions. All right, whoops. Can everybody see my screen okay? Okay, give me a shout if I freeze or anything like that. Emma, you have my text. Text me if something really goes bad. Okay, so I wanted just to let you folks know that I updated project 1 assignment and I just reloaded it to my courses. So a couple of just changes. I made an edit here under considering form and function. So for your sketching exercise for this project, as you consider your form and function and you start to clean up your project, I'd like you to make some really basic material suggestions for the building, like if it's going to be wood or steel or, whatever you think you're going to want to propose. But you don't need to get overly involved in materiality. But just like in this little sketch here, notice how it goes from something that's rather monolithic and suggestive in form into something that starts to suggest a wood materiality. So for the outcome of this exercise, which I understand you're getting into architectural sketching with Chris, you should be able to articulate these and even put a little marker or colored pencil or ink or watercolor, whatever your preference of adding color is to your drawings. So we'll work on that together. We can talk a little bit more about mass model today and modeling. And then Emma and I and Chris and Quentin all felt like you guys are doing such a good job with your graphic layouts in assignment 1 and 2 that we're going to bump you up to a 24 by 36 inch board. So congratulations, you've graduated to the next level. Pretty soon you'll be making wall length posters. We won't do that this semester, but you're well on your way. Okay, so those are the only edits I made. I put it up again. So please make sure that you have the right assignment. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second because I've got a couple of supportive lectures that go into chapter 4. We're going to do things a little bit backwards today. So you guys had chapter 4 readings and quizzes. I'm going to go over some additional supportive content that will help you in terms of conceptualizing and preliminary model making called Parti and mood board. But let's start with some general questions. Now that you've had a few minutes to kind of reflect on the assignment, start to explore mood and inspiration, let's open the floor for some questions. And don't be afraid. Does everybody understand assignment, the project? Yeah, yes. Okay, Lana's like, yes, hardcore, yes, she gets it. I need response. Otherwise, if everyone just looks at me, I don't know if I'm frozen. So you got to respond to me. Thumbs up are good. Use the little emojis. Put in the chat if you don't want to speak. But important.
I guess I'm
Go
like a
ahead.
little finicky on it, but like we're taking it kind of like step by step, right? Like
Yes.
okay. I think that'll make it a little bit easier because like I guess like maybe it was just from Monday, like a bunch of information was just thrown at us. I know a few of us were a little confused, or I'm not maybe not confused, but overwhelmed. But I think once we break it down into smaller chunks, it'll probably just make a little bit more sense because I feel like it just like seemed like a lot, but I think a lot happened that day, so it was just like
It was a
crossing my
lot.
feet.
So that's why I want to revisit it. And we can go back through the assignment again. So I give you, when you guys get an assignment from us in interiors, you're typically going to get what we call the project brief, which is what I gave you. It's the project in its entirety. So that way, it basically sets expectations as to the scale of the project and what we're looking for in terms of the outcome. And then as we start to look at each of the kind of sub moments within that assignment. So for example, the mood board and inspiration, that's step 1. So we're going to, in this sketch problem, take you through the basics of getting going on a project. And you're going to follow along with these similar approaches as you go through your design career. So these are the first steps. So it does seem like a lot. And I think Emma might be able to speak to this. Later on, this is going to become so second nature to you that this will actually be really pretty rapid. Emma, do you want to share about your experience with that?
Yeah, and like I know I was talking to like a few freshmen after class on Monday. Like it is a lot because you really see beginning to end, but I think it's also nice because I think like my brain works as a checklist, so it's kind of nice to have the whole brief right in front of you to kind of not like look ahead. Like I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed because you're looking ahead and thinking like, oh my gosh, this is so much work I'm gonna have to do. But like breaking it up into milestones, like assignments, deliverables, things like that, I find to be extremely helpful. And like now, like I just finished a semester doing a multi-story project. So it was multiple floors, multiple like venues were within this space, and it's like a lot, but like I don't know, it seems second nature by the time you're a senior. And like your projects are gonna get bigger, but in a way like the project brief always I think is something that's super helpful just because it kind of gives you the guidelines, it gives you a checklist, keeps you organized. So like yeah, it's overwhelming because it's your first one, but it'll get better. By your second project, I think you'll walk away feeling better. I love project briefs. I get so excited the day we get a project brief. That's all I think about in a good way. So I just think you guys will get used to it over time.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I want to encourage everybody to do, because now, Emma being a senior and we're in Capstone, when you get to that level, and even when you are in office in your internships or your first jobs, you need to know how to manage your time. So something I want to suggest everybody do is start to, as we go through this project brief, start to break down the steps, and they're broken down for you in chunks with a visual example. And we're going to go through that step by step at every class. We're going to take you through the whole process, and it's going to get reinforced in design drawing 1. But so what I want you to do is right now you're doing inspiration and mood board. I'd like you to track your time a little bit. Start to see how long does it take me to gather all of the images that I think I want to do. And then how long is it taking me to lay out my design board until the point where I'm satisfied? Starting to learn how to attach time to the expectations that's in a design brief will help you become more independent, because when you get to your second project or your third project or your third year, you're going to know on a personal level what takes you more time and what's rapid or quick for you. So if you use a design brief very much like a checklist, it's basically what you're going to get graded on. It's telling you, here's what you need to think about, here's what you need to do, and that's what you see in the final deliverable. All of those steps add up to that. Here's the deliverable expectation in the 24x36 board. So when you build your 24x36 board, you want to really be going back through and making sure you've done all of those steps. Does that help? Okay. So yeah, we will break it down. And today we're going to break down mood board and concept and thinking about inspiration. So as you're doing your investigations, it will give you some additional support. Are you all finding things that are exciting you in terms of finding pavilions?
I have a question about the mood board.
Yeah,
Does it matter where we get the images from?
that's a good question. No, it doesn't matter, but you want to track where you're getting them from because you want to be able to source it in a bibliography.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I like Raquel, like a classmate of mine, she gave me a good resource last semester for mood board stuff. I'm going to put it in the chat, and it gives you like really high quality like mood board images that I think like will kind of be helpful. You just look up some keywords and you can find some really good stuff. So I'll throw it in the chat right now.
Thanks, Emma. Okay. Yeah, so that's a great question. Other questions from folks? Did you find design a helpful resource for finding, those pavilion? There was tons of them, tons of little pavilions. Yeah. Okay. So let's do this. Unsplash.com. That's cool. Thanks, Emma. Okay, so folks can check that out. But before we start checking things out, just copy that and put it on a sticky note on your desktop so you don't forget to take it. And then I'm going to bridge into, let's go into mood board and let's talk a little bit about mood board and pictures and things like that. So as I do talk, please interrupt me and ask questions. Okay. And we're going to do this a little participatory. Okay. So mood board, here we go. All right. Sorry, I have to keep moving everybody on my screen. Okay. Can you guys all see my screen okay? All right. So we're going to talk about mood boards. So essentially, just to go back, a mood board is, as we mentioned, this is capturing the vibe or the essence in a graphic image that is going to tell the viewer a little something about the way the space is going to feel to them. So when we're designing interiors and architecture or architectural experiences, it is exactly that. It's an experience that we're creating for the user or somebody who's going to be interacting with the environment that we're designing. So we really want to think carefully